we're all humans here. There's no saying that we're different. The only difference is that maybe we're born with something that's not there. Because I believe in my organization. I believe in my 23 Parasports National Association. I believe in all my athletes. I can't be that unfair than that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. One word you would use to describe yourself.
Very flammable.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's hot stuff, I guess. Asap tu makanan jin kan. I makanan I jealousy and hatred. The more I get it, the more I fire up.
The fuel.
The fuel. Walk the talk. We don't want it just for the show. We just don't want it's just a slogan just to cover up everything. But in actual fact, on the ground, nothing is going on.
Welcome back to another episode of Live Confessions. Of course, we appreciate all of our guests who join us. And today, another fantastic guest who is the President of the Paralympic Council of Malaysia, Dato Sri Megat D, Shahriman Zaharudin. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Terry. Thanks for having me here.
You are a busy man, Dato Sri. You are a busy man. We appreciate the time that you can share with us here today. Let's start from like the beginning. What first drew you to parasports and what made you stay and lead?
I think every interview I like to keep it short and simple and very plain. So I think the reason being that why I want to be in Paralympics, first of all, is I have a special child myself as a parent, and also I do know that most of the community that for them that the second chance and for their children is basically to be in sport. So then when I saw the involvement of those parents as well as those children, and I think there's a lot of disparity in terms of chances, awareness, things like that. So I think that's why I thought myself that maybe I took up this challenge to make it a game changer, or not a game changer. Try to contribute something that's better. So I think that I believe that because my relationship with the government is so well, and also with the corporate world is well. So I thought of that. Maybe let's try and do something about it, and let's lift up the whole elevate the people with disability sports in the country.
Right. It's a very personal decision as well.
Decision, true.
Right. What parts of this journey have tested you the most, Dato Sri? Like not just as a leader, but as a person.
I think basically it's stigma, is about the perception of the public, is also the awareness and also the empathy, and also I think the mindset of Malaysians is one thing. I'm not trying to be, I'm being honest. At the same time, I think the public needs to change their perception. The public needs to know that, in schools that we need to nurture in terms of inclusivity. Yeah. So I think that is most part of it. And I can be frank here that if people talk less or bad about people with disability, I get really, really offended. And I think that, if I could do something about it, then I think that Malaysians are people with tradition. We have multiculturals. We are so good or so embedded with society that's saying that our culture teaches, the Malay culture, the Chinese culture, the Iban, the Indian culture, things like that. So I think even though that we have all that, still we have a different stigma, the disparity.
A blind spot.
Oh, I just don't understand. Maybe they just speak about, they just doesn't walk the talk. It's just part of posting over inclusivity, where things like that. So actually it's not in their heart. So I think that the most challenge is that changing people, getting them to know,
Right. Yeah. Do you find that being in the position that you're at and also being a father, do you find that people sometimes come up to you and play at your heartstrings to get what they want?
True. And I one thing about me is that I expected that to happen. So I think it's common, and it's not. If I were in that position, I would do the same thing as well. But then to me, is I take everything as an open heart. It's it comes. It's not. I don't say this. It comes with the job, but it's just that you have to embrace it. You got to being a big heart. Melayu kata, in Malay they would say besar hati, besar jiwa, jiwa besar. So these are the things that I look at it, and I think that's fine, and it does help me, and I get the support of the community, and to me, come, I got no problem. Just come to me. I'll help as best as I can. Not Superman, not Santa Claus, but I'll do my best, inshallah. Yeah.
And Dato Sri, you've led the Paralympic Council of Malaysia and other organizations across sports and philanthropy as well. How have those experiences shaped your leadership values and approach to what you do today?
I think most of all is service and trust. But then I believe these two core core thing that is shaping the whole leadership. I mean, again, I'm still learning with from all my peers. I'm still learning from everyone. The most important is that to earn the trust and also to ensure that you deliver the promise that you could do. And sometimes out of 10 promises that you do, you can maybe deliver 7 or 6.
Yeah.
But then you still work on the 4 that you can't do it. But then you approach back to the people or to the society or the counterpart that you have promised to. So I think
Yeah.
more or less is, and I don't want to go, I don't use bombastic words. It's just about your heart. Deliver it from your heart, tell it from your heart, tell the truth, be honest. That's it.
Have you always been a person that stood up like this, or was it something that you learned to be this person that you are now?
Yes, I would say, Terry, that's correct. Since I was small, I'm not a debater thing like that. I don't know why politicians say they have to. I mean, I quote politicians say, "Oh, they are from debating school." You don't have to be a debater to do this.
Right.
It's about yourself. Since back in school, I've been trying. I am an extrovert person. I like to volunteer. I like to do different. I like to be different. So I think that has developed me over the years, from school to college to even work,
Yeah.
or even international level. That is about doing good, giving it more than you can, and you have to give it more to public. So I think that holds me. And the other thing is that I would say I'm thankful to my parents. I think without them, then I wouldn't be where am I today. And basically, my mom was a teacher. Then after that, a lecturer. Yeah. So and then after that, went to the ministry. She became the head. So I learned a lot of things. And my dad was in the corporate world. So we know a lot of things. We know the hardship. We know how we know how life is. So I think that taught me a lot of, give me a lot of strength for me to also say things. But sometimes, despite all that, sometimes your mouth outbursts a little bit. Sometimes we're human.
So public service was something that you learned even at home.
Yeah, I do that, and my mom and dad would always tell us to always help people, and then we clean up our own self. We do things, part of discipline. But then at the end of the day, that my dad always brings me back balik kampung. Sometimes I will do the dishes. Kenduri.
Where's kampung?
No, my father's from Negeri Sembilan.
Okay.
My mother's from Kuala Kangsar, Perak.
Okay.
So what we do is that every time kenduri, I will be washing the dishes for everybody at the back of the wife. So, but then I think maybe my dad said that to teach you how to be more humble, or to be more you got to go through that. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
So, but
it worked. I think it worked. It worked.
So I guess I'm good in washing dishes again. Yeah.
Dato Sri, as someone who is shaping how Malaysia views disability through sports, what cultural or institutional barriers remain most stubborn, and how does the Paralympic Council of Malaysia confront them both on and off the field? Because you already mentioned one is just public perception. That's one thing, the way people view people who have disabilities, right?
Yeah, I think another part is, okay, if you go into institutional, for example, government, I think there's still disparity in terms of, I've been repeating this in any interviews at all. I mean, I've been very consistent the past 5 years, 4 years, and 5th year, I guess. I mean, in this Paralympic thing, it's about institution being the disparity being thing. We've been asking for merits, for example, not only for para sports, or not only for any organization related to sports, but any organization that's for people with disability in terms of doing culture, blind painting, things like that.
Right.
It's all about merits. So if they manage to do, for example, for us, if we win more gold medals, we deliver more, more trophies for the country, I think that we should be given that fairness. So as much as the able body that's been getting a lot of budget and all that, but then there's not much glory over there. So I think accountability as well as responsibility is important in terms of managing public funds.
Yeah.
And so I believe the whole Malaysian, the whole country knows that, this is taxpayers' money. So they want to know their money being invested in something that's being done glory, you see? So that's fair. You ask anybody in town, will say that. And going through, I think, like I said, stigma and also the individual, they spell this inclusivity, environmental sustainability, governance, ESG, being, that is just words. So I think that the leadership that sits in all this organization have to have the empathy, or to understand it more. It's not just a word or a campaign or a mission or vision of a company. It's not just by using it to be fit in a society. So, oh, we're inclusive. It's not that. You don't do it while, you got to do it. You got to embrace it. You got to really be in it. You got to I don't know. I'm just saying that walk the talk. We don't want it just for the show. We just don't want it's just a slogan. Or we just don't want as a part of a government initiative that you have to be inclusivity, that you're using that word just to cover up everything. But in actual fact, on the ground, nothing is going on.
Right. They want to see things happen.
Yeah, we want to see things happen in terms of, even accessibility in terms of the public. I think they're improving, but then I think more of, you can't have the whole mall, for example. I don't quote this. I'm just saying that maybe some malls in town is big, but then you have a parking for disability less than 20.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So it's not even 10% of it. So you have to have 2,000 parking.
Right.
So you must have 10% at least minimum, I think, for people with disability to park.
Right.
Despite whether a person who drives who's disabled, or the family who's bringing a disability child or disabled parents, or people on wheelchair, they're allowed to use it. So then you cannot think only that person who's disabled driving only, but there's also, either, for example, I use this because I do park at the disabled park because my daughter's on a wheelchair. So it's difficult for my daughter to come up from the side if we have another car parked side to side. So I try to, and I put name there, please call me, I will explain why I park here. So I'll go to the extent to explain.
Yeah.
So I think instead of hoping that people will do what I do, then have more parking lah.
Right. It's interesting that you bring this up, because what you're saying there is that it's not just what we can do for our sportsmen and sportswomen with disabilities. It's the wider rakyat can help.
It's on the ground. It's not about us. It's basically, one day you will never know. You go back from work, you met an accident, you don't have legs, your legs. So then you imagine, you feel how people feel.
Right.
And then those individuals, those person that goes through this daily, and for some people in brickfields, and they call it banda buta, a blind city, things like that. But they manage to do it. But then, what would you feel? You will feel how I feel.
Yeah.
So that's how, even despite I'm not disabled, but
you have that empathy.
I have empathy, yeah. So you need to understand it. I'm not asking, we don't have the magic wand to make it happen, Thing, it happens that way. No, but let us work towards what it is, Let us be the champion of Asia. Let us, since we're the chairmanship of ASEAN, we use the slogan inclusivity, right? So I think that shows the whole ASEAN that we are inclusivity, what it is, you see? Not just a word.
In past interviews, Dato Sri, you've actually noted how para-athletes' achievements inspire able-bodied peers and the larger public. Have you seen moments where an athlete's success led to actual change, whether it's in schools or public policy or corporate support?
I think in terms of education, yes, the Ministry of Education has put a lot of effort in terms of making sure the normal schools, basically, that we do have as class, they call it class pendidikan khas.
Yeah.
So what they do is that they have more programs, they get the kids together. So I think that approach from school is important, that we have that impact has made that ministry happen. So I would say kudos to Ministry of Education, despite that they're having the classes there, but then they get more involvement of the normal kids. So you understand, you got to be kind. Even my children as well, I teach them. I said that you cannot laugh, or why the guy why the kid has a robot leg. You got to ask all the question. You got to be friends, and you have some friends who doesn't. So you got to teach all that. But then in terms of the corporate world, the same thing that I will repeat again is that as much as that has impacted, yes, they have opened their eyes.
Right.
And at the end of the day, since I'm a businessman as well, entrepreneur, also a philanthropist as well, of course there's a ROI. It's always numbers.
Right.
So then I have to take a greater length to convince them that investing in para sports, what do they get?
Yeah.
So for us is that why do I can guarantee the corporate sponsors and all that is because that it's me doing it.
Yeah.
You call me, you get back. I'm responsible. If I guarantee you, I'll be the person who's liable for it. So I think that honesty and guaranteed by the corporate, they want that. So I think that approach has opened up. Publicly, people are looking at para sports more. They say, hey, this is better. They learn. It feels that, because I think the turning point was in Paris Paralympic, whereby the whole world, the view was, it went more than 2 billion viewers for that. So they know that para inclusivity has reached globally. So I think we in Malaysia has the fact that we have got the fact. So I think people know more now. So that's why sensitive issues I have to address. I have to make sure,
And it's great that you actually are not afraid to,
I
to
don't.
actually deal with these difficult
No.
questions head on, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
You mentioned the Paris 2024.
Yeah.
Malaysia's para-athletes keep bringing home gold medals, especially after Paris 2024. But we're still waiting for our first Olympic gold. How is the Paralympic Council of Malaysia using this momentum to plan for the future? Because we've been doing so well.
Yeah, I think what we were targeted back in Paris was 10 gold medals. So at least we have 10, but then we only managed to get 8 till now since Rio, then Tokyo and Paris.
Right.
So but looking forward, I mean, I got nothing against the able sports, but then I think that I'm bad at lying. So to me is that I think the focus is that we have to be strict in terms of going back to the budget. We cannot be funding something that is not being bringing in medals. For example, sports. I don't want to mention sports. I want to be very transparent, but don't want to penalizing certain sports. For example, sports A.
Right.
You've been giving money. They're not giving you results because it's a popular sport. And then there's no results, things like that. But years and years it's been going that way.
And
Despite
throwing money at it.
throwing money, and despite knowing that, seems that if you not be able to win on certain sports, that's why I said merits is important.
Yeah.
So merits without discrimination. That's what the same thing I told another interview as well. So when you have merits, you don't worry about all that, because why? Because you have to be accountable to what you spend. So then I said, as long as we behave that way, and you ask me how the Abel's going to get a gold medal, I do not have any idea. But then I can't be that transparent on that, Terry.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Is the Paralympic Council of Malaysia structured to be able to pivot quickly?
Yeah, I mean, for example, I'll give long story short. The Paralympic Council of Malaysia, we have roughly about 23 para sports.
Yeah.
The beauty about Paralympic is that because we hold certain sports that's under our arm, directly under the International Paralympic Committee.
Right.
So that sports, to make sure that it develops, it gives awareness, or even we have the grassroots level, we got to promote the sport. So that's part of our job as well.
Right.
So we do a lot of that engagement, and we take responsibility in terms of that. So that's why it's easy for us to, away in terms of getting grassroots level, we know where we result, we know that where we're getting it, we know whether we're winning, we're losing.
Yeah.
So I think that particular grasp that we have is that it's more realistic for us to know that whether we can achieve or not. So I think going back to the able bodies, I think that I said, guys, as much as I love you all, but then you guys got to wake up. If you're not going to win, we're not going to do things, stop it. Invest in something else. For example, don't worry. We're never going to win 100 meters. For example, you can never beat Usain Bolt.
We're just not built that way.
Not built that way. So if we still cannot run at 10.00 to reach the final, why the hell that we supposed to waste money on a person who thinks that he can win, but unfortunately over the past 3-4 years he can't reach 10 seconds. So why that we're wasting money? So why don't we choose another sport, for example? The reason why I always say, let's look at China. They go into all the sports they win. For example, ping pong, table tennis, all the small sports. When they win, they conquer it, then they move into the mainstream sports.
Right.
So I think we have to relook back strategically. We have good heart, we have big heart, we have big ambition. So going back, we don't have the guys, we don't have the ability, the genetics to run 9.99. Forget about it. But not not putting kids or anybody's aspiration that down the drain, but we got to be realistic here.
Right.
So if we're going to be Karen is going to be our best sport, why not make it Karen?
Yeah.
Ping pong, table tennis, bully, why not?
If you're good at it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So then that's glory. So your shortcomings, but because we do not know our shortcomings. But that's why I say sometimes it's quite funny that when you don't win anything, but then certain organization has naik pangkat, dapat gaji. So it doesn't reflect, it doesn't make sense, is it? So you're the ministry who handles performance, but then there's no performance, but you get promotion and all. I don't know where. I don't understand the
merit.
The merit is not
right.
I'm sorry, but that's how it is. If it's in Europe, if it's in the UK or Australia or even in the US, I think marriage will be the first. Second, favoritism lah kot. I don't know. But then marriage is important lah.
I'm sure many people would agree with you for sure.
I inshallah, I hope so,
Dato Sri, you've also said that para athletes deserve just as much recognition
True.
as able-bodied athletes. In fact, even here you've said it. What more needs to happen for media, sponsors, or the public to truly get there, to recognize that
I
we've
think
done so well? We've highlighted our great athletes.
can I be honest here? I do have to be a little bit of a character like this to get attention. That's a marketing way to get that. So I think I've worked. I'm still working hard as best I can, try to brand myself to make sure the media comes in,
Right.
the corporate sponsor comes, because you need to sell something.
Yeah.
So I need to sell something to the world. So what do I need from the media is that you have to understand that, despite of, like I tell the media guys, write from your heart. You know that something is not. I mean, focus more on, be balanced. 50% about the able sports, 50% is about the para sports.
Right.
Because you guys shape the nation. You guys, your pen, you write, you inform the public. So in sports, so I think that the individual itself has to have that heart.
Yeah.
If you don't have that heart, I can't push you. I can't be sending letters saying that certain news agency, please write about this. I cannot be reminding. I cannot be, it's tiring. But I would not stop. I will still keep on doing it until people change, until people put in their head, until it's stuck in their brain by saying that, okay, we need to be. Because why? Because they must understand that being a good human being is that being kind to everybody. So if you don't know much to write, always get. So even I have to start or get a certain portal to just write about us, to share with the public, because I believe in my organization. I believe in my 23 Para Sports National Association. I believe in all my athletes, and they will definitely die for the country. So I know that I could never let them down.
Right.
So that's why, going back to the stakeholders, media, corporate, please change. Please think about something else, because that I'm not putting down some other sports. It's just that let's put the money where that you're going to get most of the value.
You can see
And
the
you can
achievements,
see
right?
the achievement. And plus, I said, it's not about only winning. It's also about making sure that the public knows, making sure the brand is there. Because, you can have courses, you can have posters around the town, you can have FYP and the TikTok and all that, but still, if the mind doesn't change, the heart doesn't change, it's not going to change.
It's interesting that parasports is not. I'm always surprised that it's not getting as much attention as it should, because it's often redefined, or it's often defined to show what it means to be strong when it comes to parasports, right? Because you see people go above and beyond what they are dealing with to achieve. What have the athletes you've worked with taught you about resilience, grit, humanity?
I think there'll be, I believe it's two athletes that I am very honored to work with and respectful. First is Rizwan Puzi, that would be, we call him Day One. Second is Chu Wei Lun. So I'll tell about Rizwan Puzi. I think he won the first para gold medal in Rio 2016.
Right.
Then he keep on fighting. He keep on, even though age is catching up, he work hard. He wins, he loses. He knows that, and he knows it's time to retire. So he knows that he's giving chance to other people. So he embraced that, basically. So he worked hard. He had a lot of injuries and all that, but then he believes in himself. Also being a cerebral palsy person,
Right.
that he did it on his own. So I have much respect for this individual.
Right.
It's not about winning the medal, you see. It's about giving the impact not only to yourself, but also people around you. And the sacrifices that you make to other people, that for other people to have chance.
Right.
And second is Chu Wei Lun, that he got silver for his bocha back in Tokyo 2020, whereby that he retired. He won, and then the government has given him the shakam, and also government has given him a retirement pension, I think, for the rest of his life.
Right.
So what he did was he retired and gave his his position to another athlete, because he knows if he stays on, that person will not be. So this is where we learn a lot from para athletes. Perseverance, resilience. I saw sacrifice, and they are mature enough to do that. So I think we are all humans here. There's no saying that we're different. The only difference is that maybe we're born with something that's not there. Something that is, maybe you might have no limbs. There's certain things, but we are all human. We are all, we do understand. You don't look at a person who's disabled. You don't look at a person. Of course, there's so much negativity, stigma that still sticks. But that is always been, like I always say, publicly said, when look orang kurang upaya, minta sedekah. I don't like it. But that has been always in the stigma. That's always been in people's head. And it's still going on till today. But that is just 10% of it. But the rest are people who are, people are great people like these two individuals. So I think that they have given so much to the country and also sacrificed for themselves, for the country, and for other people. And they taught us that it's not to be selfish.
Yeah.
And they know that nothing is bigger than the country, nothing is bigger than the organization if they do not make that sacrifice.
Right. And even knowing when to step aside.
Yeah, step aside. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's two athletes. Yeah, I salute them and miss them till today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would be a great mentor for all these athletes.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why.
Have you seen the change happen in people around you with the way they perceive and look at para athletes?
Yeah, I think I mean they do. I mean, I don't want to take the credit for it. I don't deserve this credit. This credit is basically for all the para athletes as well as most important is the PWD's community. I think we have roughly about 4.5 million people that's disabled in the country. That's 15% of the population. So, but registered with the Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat is roughly around 700,000. But then I think the impact that we had is basically that yes, it's positive. People know, and I don't want people to know me. There's no point in me knowing my athletes better. But then I feel that I'm part of the team as well. So then people thought, what sports you play before? I say, no sports. but then it's been, I think I could be a good mascot. I would cheer well. You go to NFL. There's the Sharks. Things like that. So
Right.
So I think I'll be a good mascot. But then I'm not taking any of the limelight. That's not about me. But the most important thing is that what I'm creating is that what I want. I have the credit a bit.
Of course.
That I want people to know that investing in the sports, especially for para sports, that you will get good returns. That's for sure. And also knowing that this sport is that's not only because they are dying to sponsor, they're dying to come in, but you have a lot of dramas in every association. But then we're trying to elevate ourselves. That's why I said it's important for me to ensure facts are correct, things are proper, I follow the policy.
Right.
I must take action. Cannot be biarlah, tak boleh. It has to be like that. Malaysian has to know that when you do something, you're responsible for it.
Right.
So I think that effect has got into people always have, how about para sports? So we managed to get them to think about us, to think about the society, to think about the sport. So I think that's a good achievement.
Right. And that's looking to the future as well, of course, Dato Sri, with everything that you know now, everything that you've been through, everything that you've seen that's happened, what's your biggest hope, not just for the Paralympic Council of Malaysia, but for the future of how Malaysia embraces disability, inclusion, and excellence in sport?
Oh, that's a big question. Okay, maybe I put it in my words. I think I would believe that what I hope in future is that number one is that Malaysia would have a footprint in the global games, that whereby the representation of us in the global society, the global para games or international Paralympic committee is important. So that is the thing that I'm looking at. Number two is basically that we want Malaysia to be I don't only talk about sports, also that we have at least a bare minimum of 40 to 50% accessibility friendly, and to make Malaysia to be one of the most accessible friendly nation in the country.
Right.
In the region, basically. We don't want to go that too big. I think in Southeast Asia, we want to do that. So I believe that once you have good accessibility, you have all that access, I think that spills over, that good part will comes in. Because when the authorities or the organization or any ministries or the government recognize this, automatically that people are changed already. So that the rest will just follow through.
Right.
So this is what I want. I don't want much, but I think
sounds like a lot already.
Yeah,
That sounds like a lot. You're in a unique position because of being the president of the Paralympic Council of Malaysia. You see a lot of different groups of people living with disabilities.
Yeah.
But some people also know, I'm sure you would know, that not everyone is represented when it comes to being able to participate as athletes as well. Are there particular groups of people living with disabilities that should be able to get some sort of recognition to be able to participate? Maybe they have not been able to. Is there such a group?
Yeah, I think that it's already minimized. For example, for Paralympic sports, we have we call it the classification, whereby we classify the disability of the person, whether they can play sports or not.
Right.
Then we have the Special Olympics, who covers certain Down syndromes, autism, and all that. So we have that covered. Then we also have Malaysian Deaf Olympics.
Right.
So by my counterpart, Special Olympics is Mr. Bong Koy Sin is the president, and also Mr. Dr. Ong, he's the president of the Malaysian Deaf Federation. So I think that particular part, it's all covered, except for maybe individual who has a severe disabilities, maybe more medical attention that's needed. That will be very, very crucial for them to participate or not advisable to participate. So I
Right.
think that particular part is mostly on medical reasons.
Because they might put themselves at risk.
Yeah, at risk. True.
Okay.
So I think mostly covered Down syndrome. You have CP also covered.
Right.
You also have autism is covered. So I think that whole three organization that we have, and we're working closely together, and I think we would cover it. But then again, despite whichever small numbers of community or whatever who will not be able to participate, we will try to find ways.
Right.
So we do not want to shut down them or to give them, there's no hope. But we will try, definitely.
Right.
So that's the best that we could do. So I think Special Olympics is doing a good job. Malaysian Deaf Olympics is doing a good job. And Alhamdulillah, I mean, I don't like to one thing about myself, boast about ourselves, but we're trying. We're going to do our best. And I
Because
think
it's hard to constantly redefine, because categories sometimes get redefined as
redefined,
well. And so that's an ongoing process
battle.
that you're a part of. Okay, we've come to the rapid fire question part.
Okay.
So this is where we ask you questions, and whatever comes to mind first, you share with us, and what you think later on might change at
no
this
problem.
point in time.
Can.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Are you an early riser or night owl?
Oh, early lah.
Early riser.
Early riser for sure.
Always?
Weekdays only. Weekends, no. I sleep till 11, 12 on weekend. I shut down. It's like a factory,
We always get the honest truth of you. One word you would use to describe yourself.
Very flammable.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Hot stuff, I guess.
Quick to be passionate.
Yeah.
Your go-to leadership mantra in a tough situation.
I don't want to use the word shy about it. It's just that I in Malay also we zikir.
Okay.
And I just doa. That's it lah. That's nothing much lah.
Right.
That's what I do.
Right.
The only way I have.
Turn to a higher power.
Yeah, higher power. Yeah,
Of
turn to God. Not man of God, but
A moment in your career, Dato Sri, where that made you stop and think, this is why I do this.
what was the turning point is that for a parent who comes from a family who's a really low income family or B40 or even, they had to make a choice within to spend money on their own disabled child or their normal child, is that they had to spend money on the normal child and not say abandon, they have to choose with where should they put them because their money is scarce, you see.
Yeah.
So that turning point that for the parent, no parent in the world would want to abandon their child, you see, wouldn't want to give their very best. So I think because of that moment that I am close to that community, I'm close to all these people, and they had to make a choice between child A or child B, and they say if I spend money on child B that has disability, doctors might not be able to send my children to school. So that sacrifice or that moment, that's why I said I got to do this.
And there have been multiple moments.
Multiple moments, yeah. So
Right.
I couldn't just let it be. I do as my best I can.
Wow.
A little bit more.
Tell us about one thing you've learned about power or influence that surprised you.
Jealousy and more enemy. Unnecessary enemy. You don't know where they come from. It's just funny. I said, I don't know this guy. He hates me so much. I don't know. So
And
that's
it's
why.
interesting because you're in a position where most everyone you meet are striving towards making somebody else's life better. And yet
yeah.
there is this
This particular
competition.
Competition. I don't know. To me, is that competition is a competition. Win lose is competition. But then you don't have to be jealous of me. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's that of me
How do
or
you deal with it?
actually these two things.
Yeah.
Can I be very frank?
Of course.
It gives me the energy. It gives me more energy, more power to fight. If I don't have this, what I'm doing today?
It's a
I think
challenge.
It's challenge. Something is missing. So it's basically if people ask, Bomo cakap asap tu makanan jin kan? I makanan I jealousy and hatred. The more I get it, the more I fight.
The fuel.
The fuel. It's like war's coming. Raw is war, something like that lah.
You were saying that you've never been an athlete. I think this is the athlete in you.
Maybe, yeah. I do play sports in
Right.
school. I was in St. John's and after that played for
Of course,
state.
you're from St. John's.
Yeah.
Of course. And you have the competitive spirit
Yeah, competitive spirit.
of any athlete that you could go up against. Yeah.
Again, true. I have that. Yeah.
And the fuel keeps coming.
It keeps coming unnecessary fuel.
The final question we have for
Yeah.
you is something we ask of all of our guests, which is if you had the opportunity to make one change as Prime Minister of Malaysia for a day, what would you be? What would it be and why?
If you ask me, no tax for people with disabilities.
Right.
Yeah, so that would be free tax of family, or that's all I want basically. Because you see, we spend a lot of money on our children, no? So that's why I want. So no tax for them
Right.
basically. So that tax bracket basically you make that, you imply that in the Europe they have it. If I don't know why we don't have it.
Right.
For example, that I spend a lot of money on my children.
Yeah.
So then I think there should be more tax breaks on that.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just tax. It's either you cut off income tax now. It's what 24%. Give it maybe 15, or I know, depends.
Yeah. I think
So this is what
people
I'm gonna
listening
do.
now would definitely vote for you. Hear you
And
say
I must
that.
deliver that vote. I cannot just simply promise, but it doesn't come. Oh, I'm gonna be dead, man. But I mean, no tax for people with disability. That's what.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just
We've come to the end of our conversation
Thank you.
already. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you would like to share before we release you back into the real world?
I would want to share that I hope the public would understand that getting closer to understand people with disability in terms of knowing the sports is something great that you will learn a lot. It's something it will be a new experience for you as a person or as a family member, whatever it is, to know para sports. I don't want to say only para sport, but also deaf Olympic sports, and also Special Olympics, whereby they also promote that sport. So I think that spend time,
Right.
understand it, and don't be that negative, and look at it that there's a lot of difference that you can make. You change a lot of people's life, and I think it will be a very good investment. Not only if in Islam we say that you invest in dunya and akhirat. So I think that basically it will do good for everyone. So
Yeah.
I think that let's look into it. Be open-minded. Open your heart. Itu
Thank
saja.
you so much
No
for
problem.
joining us here
Yeah, yeah.
today. Dato Sri Megat D, Shahriman Zaharudin, who is the president of the Paralympic Council of Malaysia. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Isaac.
And we'll see you in the next episode of Life Confessions.